I support what Arizona has done. What I think is a little bit odd about the argument is that Arizona has simply replicated federal law with an exception. And the exception is that you cannot racially profile. There's a penalty for racial profiling. But I have to tell you, what they're asking of people in Arizona is the same thing we ask here in Kansas. Have you ever been stopped by the police for a speeding ticket? I have. When they ask me for my driver's license, they're asking me for my birth certificate. They're asking me for my legal status here in America. I don't think it's too much to ask. I had to have a birth certificate to get my driver's license. I also have to have some insurance. I think that's a pretty good thing too, because I've been hit by an uninsured driver. And it was, you know, you end up losing money on that. And so I favor what Arizona's done. What I think about immigration, I have a bill that says, let's go finish the fence. I think we need to have I want a double fence with a path in the middle for vehicles to go back and forth. I want infrared and video, and I want UAVs on the border so that we can stop the illegal immigrants. And it's not only because of our economy, it's also because of national security. I spent 4 years on the Intelligence Committee, which some people might say is an oxymoron, having an Intelligence Committee in Congress. In that committee, we found out that there are people in America today that came across our southern border using Hispanic names, but they're actually from the Middle East. Yep. And the FBI is following them today. Most of them are in the LA area, and they have their own enclave. They have their own soccer teams. And some of those soccer teams are called Jihad and Al-Qaeda and other Arabic names that stand for fighting against the infidel. So we have people that are here that aren't coming to make their dreams come true. They're coming here to make our nightmares come true, and I want it stopped. If we don't control our borders, we can't solve our problems here. Now, the other thing I want you to know about this is that today you're paying for the health care of illegal immigrants. And the reason you're doing that is because of a vote that happened a year ago last March. It was the expansion of the State Child Health Insurance Program, SCHIP for short. It took out the requirement for citizenship in order to receive Medicaid. I voted against it. I'm the only guy in this Senate race to vote against it. Get the picture? Yes, Nancy?
We need to have the Israelis come over and do our fence.
If the Israelis did our fence, I'm sure it would shut things down. Unions? Yes, sir. The unions targeted me, and you guys missed all these wonderful ads, but they started running ads against me 1 February, and they ran them every day, every channel, from 6 in the morning till 11 at night until Election Day. And I was the devil incarnate. But I survived that. I mean, they said I was taking away Medicare, that I was starving children in schools, that I was rolling old women out of rest homes into the streets. I mean, I had to tell my mother, no, Mom, I'm not taking away your Medicare. So I've done that, lived through that. Plus, in addition to that, I believe in getting good Republicans elected. People that'll fight for our freedom and for our free market. And so I've raised and given away more than $1 million to other candidates. Now, I don't regret that. Some people say, wouldn't you like to have that money back now? No, I did the right thing, and I live with my decisions. But my colleague Jerry Moran does not do that. He doesn't help other candidates like that unless he's absolutely cornered. And if you could look at who's contributed to the Kansas Republican Party, I've tried to support the infrastructure so that good candidates can get elected. But most of his money came from political action committees, and he's hoarded it over the years where I've tried to get a better government in place. But I've got enough to carry out my strategy, and I think that's what's important in a race. I need your help because it's going to be a ground game. You know, primaries are...
So here's a first grader that outsmarted his teacher last year. It's more fun with the toys than it is doing the work. And she didn't recognize it. The rest of the
Don?
school year, we had to understand if the work wasn't neat. And that's what we got in our public schools.
Let me talk to you about... I'm concerned about, not about teachers themselves. I found out that teachers who want to do a very good job do a very good job. The bureaucracy within the NEA, I think, has been detrimental to their ability to do their job. So would I eliminate a union-free school? I don't think I would get to have that vote because that's pretty much a state vote. But I do advocate for a strong education system. And if the NEA gets in between the teacher and her students, then I'm opposed to that, because they need to have the ability to teach kids. And I think that most of the teachers we have today can do that. Now, the problem comes in eliminating the dead wood. There are people in every profession that should move on to some other form of making a living. And the NEA prevents that from happening, and I think that's what's detrimental to it right now. Another question? Yes, ma'am. Against this, my colleague Jerry Moran was on C-SPAN. I still got the clip of it, and he says, well, I'm open to being convinced that we should close Guantanamo Bay. I wasn't. I was afraid they'd end up here at Fort Leavenworth, and let me tell you what would happen. They have to go to a federal court. So from the federal prison, they'd have to mount up and drive to the closest court, which is in Kansas City, Kansas. And just think of how vulnerable our citizens are if a rescue attempt occurred. So no, they ought to be treated as enemy combatants. They can rot in Guantanamo Bay as far as I'm concerned, because they want to do it. I've been down there twice, by the way. I've been to Guantanamo Bay twice. It's a modern facility. It's designed for enemy combatants. They have the most modern courtroom in America. And they have complete medical facilities. They even get meals that are created for them so that they are comfortable there. I don't get that. And if they refuse to eat, they won't let them starve to death. They have this chair that they put them in, and they got two tubes. They got tube A and tube B. The first tube, and this is a tube that goes into the nose and down into the stomach. Now the first tube is about, I'd say, it's twice as big as the one that you would normally get if you had to have a tube put down your throat and were fed in the hospital here in Kansas. It's twice as big, and they have a little tape wrapped around the end of it. So that when it goes in hard, and when it comes out hard. And they do that so that they'll go eat. I mean, you have a chance of a Persian meal, or you have the chance of a tube that they got to push down like a garden hose, you know, and then pump some fluids into them, some food into them, then pull it back out, and yeah, we'll see you tonight at 6. How was lunch? Was it good? Okay, we'll have you back at 6. I mean, these folks are, I sat in on an interview. I was behind a mirror, you know, one of those two-way mirrors, so I could watch. The way they interrogate them, quote unquote, according to the liberals, is that they sit on a love seat, and they have a soft chair, and there's a coffee table, and there's a Persian rug on the floor. They're having tea, and our interrogators just try to get them to open up about who they know, where they've been, you know, and it's been somewhat effective, but it's not waterboarding. It's not electrolysis. It's not any of the things that they claim that were going on down in Guantanamo Bay. In fact, I thought it was a little too soft. But I heard through an interpreter this terrorist tell the interviewer, I will call her, she happened to have a PhD in Arabic, and she was a very bright woman and was well educated in what she was trying to do. But he told her, when, not if, when I get out of here, it's death to America, death to America, death to America, quote unquote. These guys are killers. They need to be either sent back to their home country of origin if they're going to be incarcerated. Otherwise, we should keep them in Guantanamo Bay and convict them as enemy combatants who are enemies of the United States.
Yes. Thank you, Todd Tiahrt, again for coming.
Thank you, sir. Tell me your name.
I'm Dave Pinto.
Dave Pinto.
I'm Kansas CCW. I'm GoCo Dad. I'm the one that put the note up.
Not very hard.
Cell phone number.
What time was it?
Is that the...
What time?
Yeah, this is